Caleb thought the shadows were playing tricks on his tired eyes, but the blood-curdling howl from his porch proved that the darkness had finally decided to crawl inside and stay for good. Caleb lived a life defined by the hollow ache of exhaustion, a man haunted by a sleep disorder that felt like a curse from the heavens, leaving him wandering through his days like a ghost. Every night followed the same soul-crushing routine: a tasteless meal, a mindless scroll through social media, and the dreaded walk to a bed that felt more like a prison of restlessness. He would lie there for agonizing hours, his mind racing while his body withered, drifting into shallow, fragmented dreams, only to be jerked awake by the slightest creak of the floorboards. On this particular night, the air felt heavy, charged with an invisible electricity, as if malevolent spirits had conspired to steal every second of his rest. Then it happened. A high-pitched, piercing yelp shattered the silence of the isolated countryside, a sound so raw and desperate it made Caleb's heart seize in his chest. Trembling, he approached the window, but the thick, oppressive darkness swallowed everything outside. He peered through the peephole, seeing nothing but the void, until his trembling hands finally unbolted the door. There, huddled on his welcome mat, was a creature that defied description. It didn't look like a dog. It looked like a pile of discarded gray velvet, a mass of deep, heavy wrinkles folded upon itself like a crumpled quilt. Caleb stared in confusion, unable to recognize the Neapolitan Mastiff pup beneath the excessive skin. As he reached out, a terrifying sight caught his eye just a few hundred yards away. Multiple pairs of glowing, predatory eyes were moving through the brush, closing in with lethal intent. If you're watching this and haven't subscribed yet, I have to say I'm a little heartbroken. Stories like this need your support. Hit that subscribe button right now. You won't regret it. Now, back to what happened next. Realizing the tiny, wrinkled creature was about to be torn apart by the approaching predators, Caleb acted on pure instinct, scooping up the heavy, folding mass of fur and slamming the door shut just as the shadows reached the porch. He provided the shivering pup with a bowl of water and a warm corner, and for the first time in a decade, Caleb fell into a sleep so deep it felt like drowning in peace, unaware that his life had just been claimed by a guardian of legend. When the morning sun finally pierced through the curtains, Caleb woke up with a groan, feeling a strange, heavy warmth pressing against his legs. For a moment, he genuinely thought he had accidentally pulled two massive, weighted quilts over himself during the night. But as he peeled back the covers, he gasped. There lay the pup, a sprawling ocean of wrinkles and soft fur, snoring with a rhythmic intensity that vibrated through the mattress. Caleb realized that the creature he had saved from the darkness had sought out his warmth, anchoring his restless soul to the bed. He decided right then that this wasn't a coincidence, it was fate. A few days later, he walked into a local pet supply store to buy a collar and some food, the pup waddling behind him with massive, oversized paws. The clerk behind the counter froze, his jaw dropping so far it nearly hit the floor before he let out a nervous laugh. He joked that Caleb had brought in Cerberus, the legendary multi-headed hound of Hades himself, and while Caleb rolled his eyes at the exaggeration, the name stuck like a bolt of lightning. It was perfect. However, the clerk's expression quickly shifted from humor to a sobering warning as he looked at the thin nylon collar Caleb had chosen. He told Caleb that in just a few months, that collar would snap like a twig, because he wasn't just holding a dog, he was holding a future giant, a living fortress that would soon weigh as much as a grown man. The clerk pointed at the small bag of puppy kibble and shook his head, explaining that within a year, that bag would be nothing more than a light snack for a beast of this caliber.
Caleb laughed, thinking it was just a sales pitch, but the reality hit home the moment they returned. Cerberus ate with a primal, bottomless hunger that left Caleb staring at his mounting receipts in disbelief. He watched as the pup grew at an impossible rate, his skin stretching over a frame of pure, dense muscle, transforming from a crumpled quilt into a powerhouse of nature. The tiny yelps were replaced by a low, guttural rumble that shook the windows, and Caleb began to pray every morning that the food supply would last just one more day, realizing he had invited a literal titan into his home.
5 years have passed since that terrifying night, and the world around Caleb has changed, but the bond inside the house is unbreakable. Cerberus is no longer a shivering pile of wrinkles. He is a 250-pound masterpiece of loyalty, a Neapolitan Mastiff whose head is the size of a boulder and whose presence commands the very air in the room. Every time they step outside, Cerberus lets out a howl that echoes across the valley. Not a cry for help like the night they met, but a thunderous declaration of victory. It is the sound of a guardian who knows he has a home, a king announcing that his territory is under his absolute protection. The predators that once lurked in the shadows with glowing eyes no longer dare to approach. They know that the quilt Caleb once rescued has become a living shield of muscle and bone. Caleb's sleep is no longer a battlefield of anxiety because he knows that at the foot of his bed lies a sentinel who would challenge the gates of hell itself to keep him safe. The neighbors stare in awe as they walk past, seeing the man and his giant, but Caleb only sees the soul that saved him from his own darkness. Cerberus often leans his massive weight against Caleb's legs, a silent reminder that they were two lost beings who found their purpose in the middle of a scream. As the sun sets, the giant dog rests his heavy jowl on Caleb's knee, his deep, soulful eyes reflecting a lifetime of gratitude. They are a testament to the fact that sometimes, when you save a life, that life ends up saving yours in ways you never thought possible. Caleb looks down at the beast who was once a tiny, folded mess and realizes that his house isn't just a building anymore. It's a sanctuary guarded by a legend. What would you name this incredible dog? Drop your ideas in the comments.